There were a lot of really exciting new superpowers action figures that were revealed. One of the very newest reveals that we saw was Black Manta. I actually saw some of the reveals that were revealed today, including Aquaman, Classic Batman, Robin, and Wonder Woman. And I thought to myself as soon as I saw Aquaman, we need a Black Manta. We need a supervillain to go along with all this because there's no villains in what we just saw. That torso looks new to me. That torso definitely looks new. I suspect they're probably reusing a few things for the arms and the legs, but I am very happy with this release because it looks like a good Black Manta to me. And I like the choice of like blue for him. It very much looks like what he looked like on the cartoon, I think. Maybe not necessarily 100%, but it does look like a very nice... I mean, that head looks good. It looks like a human being can actually fit their head inside of the neck like that, rather than, say, the Page Puncher's Black Manta that was released. This looks a little bit more natural to me. It's a very simple action figure, but one that I'm extremely excited for. This one is going to be at Walmart. And that shouldn't be a surprise to anyone, but a lot of these new releases that we're seeing from DC Direct Superpowers are actually not at Walmart. And one of the first ones we're looking at is a variant of Wonder Woman. And this one is painted more in her classic color scheme, as we can see here. She's got the stars on her ties. She's got a more classic kind of red and yellow on her armor. She's got a classic coloring on her boots. She also has a blue cape. The reason I say that these are not available at Walmart, guys, is because when you look at the pre-order for these particular superpowers, they are not available at Walmart, it looks like. They are available at more specialty retailers, including McFarlane's own store, Amazon, Entertainment Earth, and Big Bad Toy Store. And I'm kind of glad to see that the Superpowers line is moving away from being exclusively available at Walmart. And I'm kind of hoping that these will be more widely available everywhere else pretty soon. I already have a Wonder Woman, but I did pre-order this Wonder Woman because I saw it and was immediately interested. Because I like the really bright color scheme. Again, it's pretty much the same Wonder Woman we've already got, but it does have that classic color scheme that I think a lot of people are going to appreciate. There is a little bit of trim on her cape over here on the artwork that I do wish we were seeing on the cape. And there's a few other little details that will be nice to see as well. Like maybe it'd be nice to see that little tie on her cape too, if that's going to be on the artwork. And it would be nice to see something of a sculpt that represents the artwork of the classic Wonder Woman a little bit more closely. And also it would definitely be nice to have her lasso of truth with her. But overall, I think it's okay for a repaint of the Wonder Woman that we've already gotten. Here, let's take a look at the Superpowers Batman that we're getting soon, guys. This one is a Superpowers Batman that is very much based on the original Batman that a lot of us might remember from the original Superpowers line. Now, something that is very notable here is that these capes are really nice looking on these. Now, if you look at it, it doesn't quite look like the material they were using for the initial waves of superpowers, including Superman and Batman. This cape looks a little bit more distinctly fabric, and I love it. This is a very classic Batman. This is more of a Batman that we saw from the Superpowers cartoon and the Superpowers line of the 80s. And we already have a Hush Batman that I reviewed pretty well. I thought it was really, really nice. But this one is also really, really good too. And I hope that we do get to see a few more classic things like this in this line, as well as the more modern incarnations of the characters. So here's what Superpowers Batman looks like out of the box. This is just him standing up. Something that I have been thinking about the Superpowers wave is that I noticed that the box tends to pinch their legs in a little bit, so it causes this, I guess, sort of bow-legged appearance to them. Now, I haven't had any trouble getting my Superpowers action figures that I have played with to stand, but I can see how it could be a problem if the box or the insert pinches their legs a little too much. That said, I appreciate the details that we're seeing on this one. Like I said, the cape looks like it falls much more naturally around Batman. It looks more like the fabric capes of old, even though we see this little piece up here with the fabric around his collar, and it looks like it might still be a little bit messy, but it doesn't look like it's too messy. So it seems like they're doing a better job on the cape at first glance. Also, God, the details on that, of that classic kind of belt, yeah, I love it. God, this is the Batman I absolutely had to have. Like, I didn't hesitate on pre-ordering this one at all. I saw it and went, oh! And then I said, yup. Here's another shot of Batman over here. Nothing too much to say about it. Looks like more of the same kind of appearance, and just shows us a little bit more of his sculpt. And obviously, they still have the pin joints. All of the Superpowers action figures have those pin joints in the knees, so no one should be really surprised by that at this point. And there's what the artwork for Batman looks like. This is very much like the Batman action figure from the 80s, only this one will not have the action feature, which I don't feel very strongly about. One of the other action figures we're going to look at here is Robin, and this one actually is not Dick Grayson like people might expect, but this one is Tim Drake. And the thing that surprises me about that is that Tim Drake doesn't have, like, that black side of his cape. And something that I wish they would have done for this one is that they would have taken 2 slices of fabric and sewn them together like the Dick Grayson capes of old. Well, not necessarily the Dick Grayson capes of old, but the Robin capes of old. Like the Batman Returns Robin and the Batman the Animated Series Robin, both by Kenner. Those both had a cape that had 2 sides of fabric to them, a black side of the fabric and a yellow side of the fabric. So it's a little odd looking at this one and seeing a cape on him that's just all yellow, because I look at this and think to myself, that should just be a Dick Grayson with the little Robin Hood type shorts. And yeah, it does bother me a little bit, but I think that the sculpt is still okay. This is probably my least favorite release of the bunch, if I'm being completely honest. His legs seem like they're a little far apart. That's not too bad. We are seeing some nice sculpting here on his torso. That looks pretty good, and the sleeves and everything look nice. His head sculpt looks fine. I just wish that the cape were different. Otherwise, he's pretty okay. What does he look like in box, guys? Let's check that out. Okay, there's the box right there, and as you can see on the artwork, yeah, he does have the black side of his cape right there, and unfortunately, that is missing. The last action figure that we're going to see from these reveals, my friends, is going to be Aquaman. And Aquaman is not necessarily a classic version of him, but a more, I guess you could say, modern version of Aquaman, because, well, he does have the classic style costume, but also he's got the long hair and the bearded look, which, to be honest, is a look that I appreciate for Aquaman, and I think this will go very nicely with the black manta that we've just seen released. Now, Aquaman here is notable because he does have an accessory. He has his trident, and it's a pretty simple trident. It's not a really well-detailed one, I would say. I've seen tridents with Aquaman that have had a little bit more panache on them, so to speak. And looking at the back of him here, you see that he's got the fins on the back of his legs, which is something that I would expect to see because Aquaman action figures have pretty much always had that. I remember that on Superpowers. I remember it on the DC Superheroes action figures of old by Toy Biz. And there's not many Aquaman action figures I can think of that haven't had it. Looking up here, you also see that he's got his scales on his costume, and also that's something that I would expect to see. I went to pre-order Aquaman earlier, but I couldn't find a pre-order link for Aquaman that showed him available, unfortunately. What does the artwork for him look like? Okay, I think that the artwork for Aquaman looks pretty accurate to what we're seeing in the package over here. Yeah, nothing over here looks like it's really out of place. Does he have, like, fins on his gloves? It looks like he kind of does. Yeah, all right, that works for me. I thought for a second that maybe he didn't, and it turns out, no, they're actually there. The release date for these is supposed to be sometime in June, in late June. So it'll be a while before we see them, but Black Manta might appear earlier than the others because he is a Walmart exclusive rather than available at the specialty retailers like Amazon, Big Bad Toy Store, and Entertainment Earth. Actually, the head sculpt on this one looks really nice when you look at it up close. The bearded look on this one, yeah, that looks like it's really well made from the profile like that. Oh. And apparently you can turn his head pretty well. Yeah, this is nice. Well, we have some more reveals here that have been shown from DC Superpowers, my friends. And one of the ones that we're looking at today is the Invisible Jet from Wonder Woman, or the Invisible Jet that goes with Wonder Woman. And this one is made of, obviously, clear plastic. Now, I have mixed feelings about clear plastic because clear plastic has a tendency to become brittle and break over time. So, if we do get this one, I would suggest that be careful with it over the years. Also, something that can happen with these clear plastic type of vehicles or any clear plastic type of toy is that they can also yellow in addition to becoming brittle over time, my friends. So again, be careful with those. Does it have an action feature though? Let's see if it does anything. Or is it just going to show us the vehicle rotating? It looks like there's a little rope inside of her invisible jet, which is going to be something I want to see more of. This is what the box looks like. If we look at what it has, it says here that the canopy opens. Okay, so that's one of the action features we're looking at here. And then it also has a capture claw that can be used to capture the villains. That's pretty exciting. I'd like to see some Wonder Woman villains pretty soon, if they wouldn't mind. Maybe Cheetah or Dr. Psycho. Either of those would be really, really cool to have. And it seats one action figure. Obviously, if you're going to seat an action figure in here, you'll probably want to put Wonder Woman in it. Although, you never know, maybe you'll want to stick another hero in there, or maybe Wonder Woman lent her jet out to Batman, who had to bring the Batwing to the shop, or, you know, someone else for a day. So here's what the front of the box looks like, and yeah, that certainly looks like a good representation of the Invisible Jet. It is unmistakable. Clearly they had to use some white outlines on the front of the box in order to make this thing visible, because as it is, if they just showed a picture of the toy itself, it probably wouldn't look all that wonderful. What does the blurb for it say? Wonder Woman sometimes employs an invisible jet, one that is undetectable by the naked eye in most radar systems. This remarkable camouflage effect is achieved by the use of individual tiles that appear purple from the inside. Surprisingly, the Amazons can convert any aircraft to make it invisible using this technology. And what else does it say? Continuing the legacy of the DC Superpowers line of the 80s, comes a brand new batch of your favorite heroes and villains in the classic nostalgia series we all love. Compatible vehicles, Invisible Jet is in a translucent design as he's one action figure. Also includes a pop-up canopy and a lasso capture claw. There it is! Her lasso is in the Invisible Jet, guys. Yeah! And of course, the newest vehicle that has been revealed, everyone, is the Batmobile from Superpowers. And I gotta say that this is probably the one vehicle I have been excited for a little while. This is really, really cool to me. I need to have this one. What action features does this one come with? Let's take a look at the box and find out, guys. It looks like the Batmobile comes with hidden rocket boosters in the back. Oh, that's awesome. Does it come with anything else? Oh, it comes with a battering ram. Oh, that's what it does. Okay. Those are some really awesome action features, actually. And it seats two action figures, Batman and Robin. This is based somewhat on the original Batmobile from the 1980s wave of action figures, but it is its own thing, obviously, as are all the vehicles that come out. So some people expecting a pure nostalgia trip or a straight re-release are going to wind up disappointed, but if you have been looking forward to this, I think that you're going to be very excited. I'm kind of loving the fact that we're getting these action features on these vehicles. Looking at this, it looks very sleek and stylish, I think. It's got those big bat signal hubcaps on there that look kind of tacky, but it's so tacky that it's kind of cool. It's cheesy, but I love the cheese. It's got the huge Batman head on the front. I mean, come on, it's silly, but God, I kind of love it. Looks like it's got some stickers on there. Yeah, those look like stickers to me. That's to be expected. Well, this Batmobile looks very, very fun. It looks like something that kids and adults can both enjoy. And that's what it looks like on the front of the box. That's what the artwork looks like, everyone. And it looks like the artwork is pretty faithful to what we're seeing from the contents. The blurb on the Batmobile says, "The wonders of the Batcave. Batman operates from the large caverns below Wayne Manor. He is constantly developing new technologies, vehicles, and weapons to aid in his never-ending crusade against crime in Gotham City. From the dozens of models of his Batmobile, Batplane, and Batboat to the simple gadgets in his utility belt, Batman is always ahead of the technological curve." And obviously, we already saw the action features in the Batmobile, and it lists them down here. It has the fold-out jet engine, it has the battering ram, and also it can hold 2 action figures. Really cool stuff here, guys.